Good morning, Loretta. Good to see you. How are you? Good morning, Bonnie. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Paula. How are you? How is everybody? Come on in. Come on in. It's Friday. We made it to Friday somehow. Doesn't it seem like that it's been an eternity since Wednesday till today, when typically our week just flies by? I mean, it's the strangest thing ever. Can't explain it, but that's the way it is. I guess that's the way our new world is going to be, right? For a day. Good morning, Robin. The other Robin. We have so many Robins. All right, I'm going to go ahead as people are coming in, and I'm going to read Psalm. Let's see, 31, I believe it was. And let me get started with that, and then we'll get rolling. Hey, Ron, good to see you. Hebrews, let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. Amen, amen to that for sure. Good morning, Lori. Good to see you. Wanda, hello. Okay, let's see. In you, O Lord, I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in your righteousness. Bow down your ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be my rock of refuge, a fortress of defense to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for your name's sake, let me lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net which they have secretly laid for me, for you are my strength. Into the hand I commit my spirit. You have redeemed me, O Lord, God of truth. Amen. Good morning, Rue. How are you? Little rhyme there, isn't it? Okay. I am going to let's start with a little I don't know, a little sense of humor. Maybe we need a little bit of that first. So let me put that up on the screen. I know that you guys have probably seen all the memes that are going around about Bernie Sanders. I guess when he went to the inauguration, he looked like he was dressed for, the outdoors in Alaska somewhere. Hey, Pastor Leo Dempsey, keep the faith. Amen. Good morning, Liz. You're also a poet. I know, and I know it. There you go, Rue. Now that we've got the corniness out of the way. Okay. So this I thought was hilarious, even though I don't like Bernie Sanders. The memes are pretty funny. But so let me go ahead and show you this. All right, let me roll it.
You see, it's a
I think
body
this is one of the
crafted to
best.
perfection,
I really
a
do.
pair of legs engineered to defy the laws of physics, and a mindset to master the most epic of splits.
You gotta have something to laugh at, or you'll just cry, right? Hilarious, hilarious.
What you see, it's a body.
And that's Bernie. That's a wrap for Bernie. So there you go. Good morning, Stephanie. Good to see you. I just thought that was funny. I hope you found it as funny. We all need to laugh. He says, I know, Ron, if you don't laugh, you're just going to cry. You're just going to lose it. All right. So, putting Bernie aside for a moment, here's some more news that came out. We get on to the serious stuff, right? We need a laugh. I know, Stephanie, we really do. We really do. This is Dan Bongino. He reveals that the FBI may be investigating his role in Parler. So now, when you own a business, you can be under investigation. I mean, people we already know, right? Depending on who you are, you're under investigation. Stop, drop, and read if you haven't find immediately. Catherine Austin. Yeah, Catherine Austin Fitz. She's really good. Yep. She's really good. You need to go find that. I think we talked about that back when I found that video. It's really good. Good morning, Susan. It's Monique, and today I'm using YouTube. Well, good, Monique. Glad that you're here. Pastor Jack was awesome last night. He had Charlie Kirk on last night. So we already know that the CEO, or we're told at least that the CEO is being investigated by the FBI. For his role in being the CEO of Parler. And there was a court case yesterday where they were trying to get Parler. Parler was trying to get themselves put back on AWS, and the court ruled against Parler, is my understanding. So, not a very good thing, not a very good precedent there going forward. It's interesting to see what the courts are going to do as we move forward, and in the way that businesses are being censored by big tech. Isn't that exactly what the Obama administration had done to the Christian businesses? Yeah, kind of a repeat again in Hoth. Susan, I was out all day yesterday, listened to your song in the car several times, brought me peace. Good, Stephanie. I'm so glad. I was hoping that people would enjoy that. Hoover 2021, James said, who's going to investigate the FBI, the most corrupt agency in the United States? Well, Rue, you'll be glad to know that Christopher Wray is going to continue on as the FBI director. He did such a great job for the B administration before they even got in that they said, why don't you just stay on? We love you. Good morning, Chicago Pops. So he is going to stay on. And also some breaking news. The Senate confirms the nominee Lloyd Austin, a retired Army general, as the first Black defense secretary. Just so you know. Don't know what his qualifications are. We just know that he's Black, and that seems to be the most important thing. So I'm just passing it along because that's all they've talked about is the color of his skin for the last couple days and not what his qualifications are. So, all right, moving along. Sort of a sad thing, not unexpected, that we have seen happening. And this occurred basically one day after President Trump left office. And that is as the National Guard said, we feel incredibly betrayed. Thousands of guardsmen forced to vacate the Capitol. So, instead of putting the dogs out, we've put the National Guard out, and we've put them in the garage because, that's where we put a National Guard and people that we disrespect, or so it seems. Now, basically, some members of Congress saw it and they said they were appalled by it. I guess that's true. I don't believe anything anymore that anyone in Congress says, but okay, we'll take your word for it. So they basically started talking to people and getting things done. They said one unit, which had been resting in the Dirksen Senate office building, was abruptly told to vacate the facility on Thursday, according to one guardsman. The group was forced to rest in a nearby parking garage. You can rest, isn't it funny? You can rest in a parking garage. That's where, I know when I want to rest, I go to the parking garage. I'm like, you know what? Nothing's more comfortable than laying on hard cement in a parking garage. So let's go there and let's get some rest. So that's where they went. They well and completely qualified. Hoover said, yep. Ray did such a great job keeping everything covered up. Yep. Well, at least we know whose side they're on. Pelosi actually requested machine gun troops after the Capitol breach. She's nuts. Yeah, I heard that. She wanted them fully loaded and ready to go. So anyway, we go on with this story. A group was forced to rest in a nearby parking garage without internet reception, with just one electrical outlet and one bathroom with 2 stalls for 5,000 troops. Don't see a problem with that. Temperatures in Washington were in the low 40s by nightfall. Oh, well, right. They're not even dogs. They're less than that, right? Just made a number of calls and have been informed Capitol Police have apologized to the guardsmen, and they will be allowed back into the complex tonight, said Senator Tammy Duckworth, who's a Democrat, surprisingly, that she would speak out for them, but maybe, just because she has to. But she lost both of her legs in combat. She said, I'll keep checking to make sure they are. A brigadier general confirmed that a little after midnight, because people like to get more rest but after midnight. The troops were out in the garage and back into the Capitol building as authorized. They will take their breaks near Emancipation Hall going forward. They would most likely, I think they'd most likely still be in that garage had it not been brought to somebody's attention. What I do like is that Governor Abbott of Texas and DeSantis of Florida have basically, they're calling their troops back home. And I think, number one, I don't know why Florida and Texas had to send troops anyway. I know they did it because they were requested to do it. I get that. It was obviously an overblown show of force, is the only way that I can see it, is why they were there in the first place. Hopefully the military has no respect for them, Ruth said. They have no respect for our military, Stephanie said. Lisa, good morning. What a disgrace. No apologies accepted, Liz said. Exactly. Hey, Bruce, good morning. Dems are all for guns now. Yeah, exactly. And they always have been, Rue. Tammy Duckworth, what a crook, plays the disabled vet card. Ron said, good morning, Boston T. Good to see you. So yeah, so that's that's how we treat people, and I'm sure going forward, it's going to be just as wonderful for our active duty military, the regular troops, and this is what Jack Posobiec had to say about it. He said, now Jack Posobiec, as you know, is a former Navy officer. If you're surprised how Biden treats our troops, wait till you see how he treats American families. Oh, I can hardly wait because I already see it, and it's not going to be good. And I thought this was really good. He had the scoop on this morning. So let me put this in and get this back up for you. And the scoop was Trump has given permission for the troops to stay at Trump Hotel, D.C., if any of them need, per advisor at, and that's One America News. So of course, President Trump opened up the Trump Hotel and said, you're welcome there, because that's who he is. The colossal nerve, Irene said, I know. The first inauguration that required military protection. I know, Stephanie. Oh my, I was watching a replay, then I woke up, Barbara said. Hey, Twin Crier. And these are the honorable men and women who went there to protect the whole charade. I know, Monique, I know. What a farce, Ruth said. Dilute the Marines. Yeah, instead of dilute them and salute. Yeah, we saw the video where I guess somebody was whispering and supposedly into B's ear to salute the Marine. And instead of doing so, as you know, he just walked by and said out loud, salute the Marines. So Cully said B is going to bring back guys to female sports. Well, of course, because that's what we do. That's what we do in the new administration. Illinois has 2 of the worst senators in D.C., Ron said. Well, I'm not surprised. Okay, now I want to show you something. Let me get this off the screen 1 second. And I want to bring this up. This happened earlier today, and I want to play it for you. It has a little bit of audio, so just take me a second to get this up. But I found this disturbing. And I found it disturbing, one, because I don't think anybody in America, meaning the new administration, is going to do anything about it or care for that much. Okay, let me go back here. Let me get this started. Let me bring this up. 1 second. And then I'm going to start the sound. You won't be able to hear the sound if I don't do it right. So there you go. Hold on 1 second. Let me get the sound for you, because I know I learned my lesson yesterday, but I often forget. Okay, let me get this going for you, and then you can hear it on for yourself. You start about right there. Okay. Let me roll tape. This is Amir Safadi with Behold Israel.
In a couple of hours. But I wanted to tell you that the leader of Iran, Khamenei, just tweeted, and I'm not on Twitter. I saw it, somebody forwarded it to me. He just tweeted in his Twitter account in Persian, in Farsi. He tweeted a tweet that is very cryptic. Look what he said. He said, It's time to revenge the killing of Qasem Soleimani. And let me tell you what was the picture that he tweeted. He tweeted a picture of President Trump playing golf, and above him, because that was a picture from above, there is the shadow of a drone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure what you understand from this. This is a direct threat on the life of President Donald Trump, who is no longer the president, of course, right now, but he's definitely the target of Iran. And let me guess two things. One, that Twitter will not block his account. Two, that the U.S. State Department and White House will not condemn this thing.
All right, so hopefully you heard that. So there you go. So we have a Khomeini supposedly. Now let me just tell you something. I went to look for that picture that he said, or the tweet that he said was posted, and I could not find it. I don't know if the tweet was taken down. I don't know if the tweet was real. I'm not sure. So I'm just telling you that. I think Amir usually gets things right, but I'm just letting you know what I saw. I told you God might have been saving Trump from something. Rue said Twitter suspended him this morning. Good, Lori, finally. You mean the Khomeini, or are you talking about Behold Israel? Khomeini, I guess is what you're saying. Okay, so let me show you. This is the picture. Now, this is horrible. Must keep our president in a lot of prayer, not only from outside the U.S., but also from within. Hey, Sissy, good to see you. Chastity, good to see you. Saw the picture. Amir has Telegram. Yeah, here's the picture from Telegram. Now, as you can see, it's hard to see this. Right here in the middle of the page is President Trump supposedly playing golf. And if you go to Telegram, you can see it more clearly. There is a huge shadow. Hold on 1 second. Come on in. You lay down, baby. There is a huge shadow of a drone over the top of President Trump. And again, if you go to Telegram and to the account of Amir, you can see that a little bit more clearly. And I don't think anybody's going to say anything about it. I don't think anybody's going to do anything about it. It's going to be, no big deal. So it was Khomeini that was suspended. Yeah, I went there a little before we came on, and I did not see that the account had been suspended, but maybe it is now. Ruth said it's been everywhere. I saw it way before Amir posted it. Hey, Sally. Sally says, good morning, Susan and Patriots. Revenge is imminent, Ruth said. They suspended his account. Nick said, good. Hello, Lynn. Good to see you. And like I said, I could not find that. So when I went there, so maybe what they did is they had him take it down. I don't know. Ron said, I quit Twitter in 2019 of June. I can't imagine how much worse that platform is now. The administration will get themselves into World War III, Ron said. Yeah, well, let's hope not. But, we seem to be like speeding along down the wrong path. Let's see. Here is a picture in the New York Post. All right, let me see if I can click on this without, I'm almost afraid to do it. Well, I can show it. All right, here we go. Let me just try to put this. Well, I can't do it that way. All right. So it's on the New York Post. If anybody wants to go see that, you can go and see that right there. All right. So it's pretty disgusting, when you can do that. Israel can defend itself. Our kids have spilled enough blood for them. No more false flags to go to war. Wesley Clark warned us a long time ago that Iran was the last of the 7 wars in 5-year plan, James said. Big things will happen on Passage. Okay. And I don't know what those are, and I don't know when that is. So maybe, Stephanie, you can tell us when that is and what it's all about. Okay, so we just found out this morning that the articles of impeachment, the one article of impeachment, is going to be delivered on Monday to the Senate. Now, some of the experts say it's unlikely that President Trump incited any riots. And as we know, as we've talked about before, the timing is off. He's being charged with the incitement of insurrection. It said they talked about too the timeline of the day's events. House Democrats argued in their article of impeachment that Trump's fight like hell remark helped encourage the lawless action carried out in the Capitol that day. So now, if you tell somebody, go in there, do your best job, and fight like hell, that means that you have just, that means you have just gone in and told everybody to kill everybody in the room. That's what that now means. So if you go to the Webster Dictionary and you look up what, or anywhere their phrases, what does fight like hell mean? Now you're going to see it. It absolutely, positively means that you're going to kill everybody in the room and that you're wanting violence and you're spurring it on. Well, which we know isn't true, but okay. Sometime you fight like hell to get a job. Oh, not anymore, Robin. If you fight like hell to get a job, that means that you want to hurt the employer before your interview. Okay. So just remember that when you use that phrase from now on, that's what it's going to be because the Democrats have deemed it so. It's stupid, but whatever. Okay. So, they said, Democrats in their article said that Trump's fight like hell remark helped encourage the lawless action carried out at the Capitol that day. Yet, Trump, who began speaking at almost 12 p.m. that day, did not utter that particular line until over an hour into his speech at around 1:12 p.m. By that time, according to the Washington Post timeline of the day's events, the storming of the Capitol had already begun roughly a mile and a half away from where President Trump was speaking. So, again, I don't think truth matters anymore. I don't think facts matter anymore. I think nothing matters to these people anymore. Maybe it never did. They should charge Biden for what happened in Seattle. Oh, and also Portland, Cully. Also, and don't forget. All right. So now Trump has hired an attorney to defend him. Let's find out a little bit about him. He's a former South Carolina-based lawyer, Butch Bowers, to represent President Trump in his Senate impeachment trial. Now, Bowers is basically a National Guard colonel. And this is a picture of him there, and they don't know what year that is because it's undated. He relatively unknown on the national stage. He's represented former Republican governors in South Carolina and served in the U.S. Justice Department under Republican former President George W. Bush, according to his website. Republican Lindsey Graham, a Trump ally, recommended him. Oh, dear God. Okay. In 2012, Bowers represented Nikki Haley in an ethics hearing over allegations that she engaged in illegal lobbying while she was a state rep. She was cleared of wrongdoing. In 2009, Bowers represented Mark Sanford in an ethics hearing over his use of a state aircraft for a secret 5-day trip to Argentina with his supposedly extramarital affair girlfriend. Sanford agreed to pay $74,000 to settle the charges. He's also known as Carl Smith Bowers Jr., graduate of Tulane Law School, has his own law firm, and is associated with the Miller Law Group, that he enjoys bird hunting and good bourbon. So there you go. And he was recommended by Lindsey Graham. Doesn't that make you feel good about this guy? I mean, just that recommendation from Lindsey Graham puts away all my concerns, I know. Good is bad, bad is good, and the rest come with woes. The liars and God deniers will be dealt with better than we can, Ruse said. Stephanie said any Republican that votes to impeach needs to hand in their card. Yeah. Barbara said Jay Sekulow let us down as the rest opened his mouth before he had facts. He was all self-righteous. Currently not watching Jay, Barbara said. Hey, Texas Kilo, how are you? Good to see you. So, also, I just want to show you something that is, I think, as they say, pictures say 1,000 words or paint 1,000 words or however that goes. I think this one picture kind of sums up what we already know. Chastity said Lindsey Graham is washed up. It's so crazy, insane. Who almost have to think it's a show. It's like, yeah, well, it could be, Robin. It could be, because how much of what we thought was true is actually not true. And I have said for the longest time since I read the book Technocracy Rising by Patrick Wood that I have often told you guys that you need to read. Once I read that book years ago, I knew then that everything that I had ever believed and had been taught in my childhood was nothing but an illusion. I didn't know how bad it was, but I knew it had all been a lie. All right, here's a picture that paints 1,000 words. Here's what Fauci said. The idea that you can get up here and talk about what you know, what the evidence, what the science is, and know that let the science speak. It is somewhat of a liberating feeling. Yeah, I would feel liberated a lot if he would just go his merry way. But we know he's not going to. He's going to be used and used and used some more, willingly, of course, by this administration. Stephanie said, Jay is just a man. We need to stop putting our faith in any man and solely in our Savior's Yeshua. Lynn said, POS for Fauci. I quit some time ago on Jay. Sally said, yeah, Sally said, I can't stand Fauci. Yeah, who can? A few people, I guess. But yeah, I think Jay, the night that he saw the election results like the rest of us did, he knew that by the next day something was wrong. He wasn't willing to go further with it. Don't know why that is. Don't know the behind the scenes stuff. Don't know if they told him not to get involved. Don't know if he didn't want to get involved. I don't know. He does good work in the abortion area. He's doing a lot of work for, the California churches to help them. But, I don't know what the story was. He's trusting a Bushy, James said. Fauci going to get worse. It sure is, Bruce. It sure is. Well, I started feeling that when I was about 5 and figured out the Santa deal. I still believe in fairies, for the record, Barbara said. Fauci reminds me of a rat when I see his face. He reminds me of the guy in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the guy with the black hat and the black jacket that looked into the ark when he wasn't supposed to and all that. Good morning, Susan. Good to see you this morning. I hope your weekend is awesome. Thank you, Candace, and I hope yours is too. All right, so let's see some more news about what's coming. And I'm showing you this because I think it's important. And then we're going to get into some things that I think is even more important to talk about than the news. As I've always said, the news isn't really, it gives you an idea of where we're going, but what are we going to do with it? Beijing is building military drones to rival the U.S. in war, a leaked file shows. So I think that's pretty much all you need to see to know that's not a good thing. It looks like they're building, let's see where I saw it, like 1,000 drones per year. The document that they found, it was a leaked document, stated there would be 130 million yuan, about 20 million investment to build the drone making firm that would begin production by the end of 2018. So that the document came from 2017, the leaked document, supposedly. So we're probably pretty far ahead with those drones now. We've had about going on 3 years to do something about it. Because of what he did, I will never support them again, Sally said. And which part, Sally, what he did? Can you tell me a little bit, expand on that? Press secretary says you don't have to wear a mask if you're celebrating. That's right, Cully. So, but Cully, here's the thing. You are not allowed to celebrate. You are not as equal as others, okay? So remember your place. Some are more equal than others. You just happen to be the others, that aren't as equal, not the others that are in power. So if you're in power, you can celebrate and you don't have to wear a mask. But if you are just like the rest of us peons, you're not allowed to celebrate and you must always wear a mask. So does that tell you anything? Thank you, Rue. We are at halftime. If you want to retweet this, if you want to share this, that would be great. Chastity wants to know if anybody's getting the vaccine. Barbara said, have you looked at those evil eyes of the press secretary? No, I haven't, Barbara, because I could care less. because I already know what evil looks like. I don't need to see it every day. The Dems will take us Americans over the cliff. What horrible people, Ron said. All right. Now, here's where I'd like to go from this point forward. And just kind of talk about some things. Number one, we need to stop being misled, right? We have been misled for the past 4 years and for many years before that. Probably for our whole being in our existence. We just didn't know it. But anyway, we have, for example, the GOP who constantly flip-flop. We've got Tom Cotton who wanted to get the president impeached. He was all for that. Oh, the president incited a riot. When he was kind of for the president before, then he was against the president. And now, oh my gosh, I'm so incensed about the National Guard. Look at me. I'm such a great guy. Don't you know? Okay, so that's for one. Stop listening to the GOP about anything. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's true. You've got to quit believing that the Congress people who say they're going to do something, number one, give a damn about you, and number two, are actually going to do something. How many years have we seen? Hey, Debbie. How many years have we seen Lindsey Graham say, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, blah, blah, blah. And he did nothing. How many years did we watch Trey Gowdy? As much as I liked Trey Gowdy, I'm going to do this, and he didn't do anything. How much? Oh, Mitch McConnell, I'm going to go in there. We're going to get Obama and we're going to overturn that, but not this time. We'll do that next time because this is not a good time. So, okay. So stop believing in your Congress people. Also, people have told you and me for the last 4 years to stay the course, to trust the plan. Trump has a plan. I think it's maybe should be, if not clear to everyone, that I don't know if that's true, Robin. Trey Gowdy has his own law firm. I don't know if he was doing work for them. I have no idea. But I think these people may have been a psyop. Okay. Honestly, I can't prove that. I don't know. But here's what I do know. Sometimes psyops will take you down a road and keep you there so that, number one, you don't do anything. Number two, you don't think for yourself. And number three, they get what they want, right? Hey, Bill, good to see you. 9-3 setup was raised in a floral business. Good job. Thank you, Bill. Thank you. So for the last 4 years, we've told just stay the course, trust the plan. And so what did people do when they stayed the course and they trusted the plan? Well, they believed that there was a course that we were on. They believed that there was a plan, and they looked to one man, President Trump, to make it all happen. We didn't go out. We didn't do things necessarily. Some people did, but for the majority, we just kind of go, well, trust the plan. He's in charge, and we're going to sit back and wait and watch the show. Going to get our popcorn. Yeah, well, there are still people trying to convince you to get your popcorn because things are coming. So if you want to stay on that train of being told what you shouldn't do, right? Which is don't do anything, be totally inactive. So don't be active. That's what they're telling you. Then go ahead and do that. But I'm not on that train. I am not going to sit around and wait for somebody to tell me what I need to do. I'm going to do that myself. That comment does not prove intent. What are you talking about, Adele? They stopped fighting for themselves, Ruth said. Me too, James R. I never believed all of that. The 17th letter was always a grifter's game, but we said, okay, so bad for not seeing that they were so far led. I don't know. Study Ike, Perot, Ron Paul, then you will see the world more clearly. James said, Cotton betrayed us. Graham, as usual, betrayed us, but not your trust in the political class. Put not your trust in the political class. Trust God, not politicians. Hey, JC, BC, right? Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. Replying to Debbie. Okay. I went to GOP meeting last night. We all let them know if Trump starts a new party, we will leave. We hate the leadership of our party. At the top is corrupt. What does it say about the group? See, and that's the thing of it too. If you start to walk away from the Republican Party, they're going to do everything they can to ask you not to leave. Oh, give us a little bit more time. Give us one more chance. Give us. I'm done. This is why people are such sheep. Nick said, yeah, I am done with people telling me what's coming, what's going to happen, what I should do, what I should believe, and on and on and on. We have to take we took hope in the fact that someone else was going to do something, and those days were over. And again, we still see people saying that. Bruce said he's done too with the Republican Party. Me too, Stephanie said. People on Cloud Hub, people on Facebook, people on Twitter, all over are continuing to tell you, just hold on, we're going there. The military is actually in control. If you don't think those people are psyops, then I don't know who is, right? Because they take what you know is true, and then they twist it and twist your brain along with it so that you actually believe what they're saying is true. When are you going to stop doing that? When are you going to stop following people who do that to you? When are you going to stop watching people that do that to you? When are you going to delete people from your timeline or your Twitter feed or wherever that tell you those things? You don't need to be sucked in any longer. You need to pull away from that. The best is yet to come when Yeshua returns, but they're telling you the best is yet to come when you distrust the plan, because that's still going on, sissy. I'm subscribing to all their BS, Barbara said. If he's doing legal work for her, he should bill her twice. James said, well, he's probably not going to get paid anyway, James. We have been duped, Sue said. Yes, military is not in control. Otherwise, B wouldn't be allowed to sign these anti-American executive orders, Stephanie said. GOP promises made, almost none kept. Tim said, yep, I had the leader looking like he might have a stroke. Well, that's because when you start talking about taking somebody's career position away from them or their money out of their pocket, they start to listen. However, we've been down that road with the Republican Party before, and they don't do anything. You can tell them, well, we're gonna primary you, and they're like, oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. We're gonna listen. We got a plan, and we're gonna do something. So please, just give us a chance. Oh, well, and then when the chance goes, is just give us another chance. This wasn't really the right time, but we'll get them next time. I promise. And there's 2022. We can get them then. Oh, BS. No. It's been there, done that, heard that, finished with it. Okay. Now, here's another thing that I think that we need to start looking at. Churches. What's going to happen with the churches in the coming days? I think, a lot of people, it's Wanda, it's not about splitting the party. It's about replacing a party. I am not advocating, nor will I ever advocate for a third party. I am advocating for a replacement of the GOP by a new whatever party you want to call it. Not adding a third one, replacing one. And with new rules and new ways of doing it. Yes, follow the plan and watch Trump walk out the door. Exactly, Sue. Remember the debate and Joe saying he would not stop fracking. I hope people know they're being lied to. Robin, they don't care. They're not going to see it, and they don't care. People, I'm telling you, as we've talked about before, the great delusion is coming during the tribulation period. We're already seeing it begin. People are deceived, and you look right at them, you tell them the truth, they don't want to hear it, or they don't watch the news or whatever. They're being deceived, and they don't care. And a lot of times they'll say you're lying to them, that they're not really being deceived or whatever. So you have to forget what other people are doing and concentrate on what you can do and how you can help. Unless Mitch is gone, he won't allow Trump to be in the Republican Party. See, that's just a problem, Robin. We have to get rid of the GOP, of that whole party, and restart it from the ground up with a new party, with new rules, with new ways we're going to do things, with new ways that we're going to tell people, you get out of line and you're gone. You're gone. So I don't know how we're going to do it. It's going to be hard. You still have to follow the constitutional rules. So they still have rules that they're and laws that they're supposed to follow. They haven't been so far for some things, but we need to figure this out, and it's going to take some planning and thinking. There have been no executive orders signed, Rue said. Let's see, evil is gaining steam because good is asleep at the switch, Nick said. Only actions have been signed, Rue said. Got here late. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Kathy. Yes, Susan, birth pangs. Yep, it's a massive plan. James said that was whitewater joke about billing twice. Yeah, well, I like I said, she's probably not going to pay anyway. Let's see. What's good for thee isn't good for me philosophy. Yep, the Dems will take us Americans over the cliff. Yep, Ron, it's so true. So again, getting back to the churches. Here's what I foresee what's going to happen with the churches that's coming. We're going to see churches who are going to give in. Churches that aren't really churches and not following God's principles, like those churches that have been closed when God clearly says you are to assemble as a church and be together and all that. And those people they still have their churches closed. These are the churches you're going to have to watch out for. These are the churches that are going to be approached, I believe, my opinion, in the beginning when they're going to be paid to keep their doors closed. They're going to be paid by the government to do what the government wants them to do. They'll be paid and encouraged not to preach the truth because it goes against socialism and communism. And then how will you know going forward that you can put 100% of your faith in your pastor? Newsflash, you cannot. You can never put 100% of your truth in any pastor, in any person, period. Pretty sure Trump will start a new party, Tim said. I want Mitch out, communist traitor. Sally said, these days, I don't care about the rotten two-party system anymore and mainly focus on events in Jerusalem. And that JC, or now I'm going to be calling you BC, JC, that's what you should have been doing all along anyway. What's happening in Jerusalem and what's happening in the Middle East is really more important than anything happening here, because that's what we're to keep our eyes on too. What do you think about being sworn in 12 minutes before noon? Trump was still president at that time. Yeah. Does anyone remember Amalek? Rocky said, that's who I was referring to as the corrupt top of the party. Sally said, on my page, Wilderness Cry, a great link of Pastor Jack and Charlie Kirk having a great discussion. Yeah, Bill, we talked about that in the beginning. That was Charlie Kirk was on there last night. Tim said, my church never closed once last year. Yeah, Monique, about Pompeo's 1,384 days tweet yesterday. That was only in regards to how long Biden was going to be in power. Exactly. No human can help you. That's because 501c3 is more important than the word dump your church if your pastor won't give up their tax status, Patriot Gal said. Let's see. What was this one here? Just like Jack and Charlie said last night about the 501c3. Yeah, you have to know that the church that you're going to is going to adhere to God's principles and not man's principles. Yeah, Bonnie said Walmart signs on the door say wearing a mask is a law. What a lie. Nowhere on the books in local or state is it a law. It isn't. It isn't law at all. You're right. The founding fathers never set up Congress for these people to be career politicians. No way. Exactly, Ron. Now, here's some other things. This is an article that was sent to me, and I think it's worth sharing to you. Does anybody remember Pastor Andrew Brunson? Do you remember that? Here he is praying with President Trump after he had been released and freed from Turkey. And let me see if I wrote this down here. He was accused of Turkey. He lived in Turkey with his wife and 3 children for more than 20 years, most of it while working for a small church there, which had about a dozen, had a congregation of about 2 dozen people. He was arrested in October 2016, and the authorities accused him of having links with the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, and the Gulenist movement, which Turkey blames for the 2016 failed coup. So now you remember who he is, and his why he was linked to President Trump. Well, he came out recently and talked about some things, and I want to share that with you because, again, I think this is pretty important. These are 5 ways to prepare for the days ahead. And I know we're out of time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a link so that you can go see it. We'll talk about it probably again on Monday. I think it'd be a good time to do it. And this way we can talk a little bit more about what he said, why it's important. So I'll go back and pick that up on Monday. What I'd like to do now is I know that we've been in Isaiah, and I would like to leave Isaiah just for a little while, because there are 66 chapters. I think we're at 40 something. I believe. Hold on one second. I almost stopped the restream. Okay, here's what I'd like to do today. I'd like to go over to Daniel because I think it's important, and I hope that's okay with everybody that we're in Daniel. And I'm going to put it up on the screen so that we can kind of read this together, because I think it's important that we study the Bible. I also like it to be up on the screen so that everybody can see it. If you don't have a Bible, you can follow along on the screen. So everybody on board with going to Daniel? Give me a thumbs up if you have. If you're still there, give me a thumbs up. Tell me that you're okay with that. I think I'm still on Restream. Anybody there? Whoops. Oh, there we go. Amen. Okay. Let's see. Wow, I've been studying Daniel and Revelation lately. Yep. And I think it's a good place to go. Okay, so Daniel and his friends obey God. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, I'm never going to say that right, so apologize right now for the name saying it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with some of the articles of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God, and he brought the articles into the treasure house of his God. Then the king instructed Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, to bring some of the children of Israel and some of the king's descendants and some of the nobles, young men, in whom there was no blemish, but good looking, gifted in all wisdom, possessing knowledge and quick to understand, who had ability to serve in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the language and literature of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed for them a daily provision of the king's delicacies and of the wine which he drank, and 3 years of training for them, so that at the end of that time they might serve before the king. Now from among those of the sons of Judah were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. To them the chief of the eunuchs gave names. He gave Daniel the name Belshazzar, to Hananiah Shadrach, to Misha, and to Azariah Abednego. Mishael, Shadrach, and Abednego. Okay. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I'll get it right. Can't they just be John and Jem and all that? But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's delicacies, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the chief of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into the favor and goodwill of the chief of the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who has appointed you food and drink. For why should he see your faces looking worse than the young men who are your age? Then you would endanger head before the king. So Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance be examined before you, and the appearance of the young men who eat the portion of the king's delicacies. And as you see fit, so deal with your servants. So he consented with them in his matter and tested them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, these features appeared better and fatter in flesh than all of the young men who ate the portion of the king's delicacies. Thus the steward took away their portion of delicacies and the wine that they were to drink, and gave them vegetables. As for these 4 young men, God gave them knowledge and skill in all literature and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the days, when the king had said that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. Then the king interviewed them, and among them all none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore they served before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding about which the king examined them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers who were in all his realm. Thus Daniel, continued until the first year of King Cyrus. Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Everybody still okay and seeing everything and hearing everything? Thanks, Christine. I'll remember that. Can everybody still hear and everything? I guess that sounds good. Okay, good, cool. Now in the second year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, Nebuchadnezzar had dreams, and his spirit was so troubled that his sleep left him. Then the king gave the command to all the magicians and astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans to tell the king his dream. So they came and stood before the king, and the king said to them, I have had a dream, and my spirit is anxious to know the dream. Then the Chaldeans spoke to the king in Aramaic, O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will give the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, my decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream to me and this interpretation, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made an ash heap. However, if you tell the dream and its interpretation, you shall receive from me gifts, rewards, and great honor. Therefore, tell me the dream and its interpretation. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we shall give its interpretation. The king answered and said, I know for certain that you would gain time, because you see that my decision is firm. If you do not make known the dream to me, there is only one decree for you have agreed to speak lying and corrupt words before me till the time has changed. Therefore, tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can give me its interpretation. Chaldeans answered the king and said, there is not a man on earth who can tell the king's matter. Therefore, no king, lord, or ruler has ever asked such things of any magician, astrologer, or Chaldean. It is a difficult time that the king requests, and there is no other who can tell it to the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this, when the king was angry and very furious, and gave the command to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. So the decree went out, and they began killing the wise men, and they sought Daniel and his companions to kill them. God reveals Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Then with counsel and wisdom, Daniel answered Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, who had gone out to kill the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree from the king so urgent? Then Arioch made the decision known to Daniel. So Daniel went in and asked the king to give him time that he might tell the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to the house and made the decision known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they might seek mercies from the God of heaven concerning his secret, so that Daniel and his companions might not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then the secret was revealed to Daniel in a night vision. So Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and raises up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. I thank you and praise you, O God of my fathers. You have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what we asked of you, for you have made known to us the king's demand. Daniel explained the dream. Therefore Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus to him, do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Take me before the king, and I will tell the king the interpretation. Then Arioch quickly brought Daniel before the king and said thus to him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah who will make known to the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, are you able to make known to me the dream which I have seen and this interpretation? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king has demanded the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, and the soothsayers cannot declare to the king. But there's a God in heaven who reveals secrets, and he has made known to King Nebuchadnezzar what will be in the latter days. Your dream and the visions of your head upon your bed were these. As for you, O king, thoughts came to your mind while on your bed about what would come to pass after this, and he who reveals secrets has made known to you what will be. But as for me, this secret has not been revealed to me because I have more wisdom than anyone living, but for our sakes, who made known the interpretation to the king, and that you may know the thoughts of your heart. You, O king, were watching, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose splendor was excellent, stood before you, and its form was awesome. The image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. You watched while a stone was cut without hands, which struck the image of the feet of iron and clay and broke them in pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together and became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. The wind carried them away so that no trace of them was found, and the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. All right, so I'm going to stop right there. Hopefully I'll remember where I left off, and we can pick up where we left off. Good morning. Hey, Miriam. So hopefully you will have a wonderful weekend. Hey, Puzzles, good to see you. Hope everything will go well for you this weekend. We are going to have rain, and more rain in California. Yep. Yeshua destroys all kingdoms of the earth and rule, Stephanie said. It's a great day to be saved and busy for his kingdom. Hallelujah. Absolutely, Miriam. And I want to thank everybody for being here. And if you could please retweet this, that would be great. Thank you, Lori. You're very welcome. And we will see you back here, God willing, on Monday. Can't wait to watch Jack Hibbs this Sunday. Yes. And let me just tell you something really quickly. For those who watch J.D. Farag, the pastor J.D. Farag, who gives the prophecy updates. This Sunday, he is going to go back and talk about part 2 of Decision Time. If you haven't seen part 1, they took that down. So part 2, if he does it on YouTube, they will take it down. So what he is going to do on his prophecy updates, I can't speak, I'm trying to do it quickly, from now on, is he is going to put them on jdfarag.org. You will be able to live stream with him at jdfarag.org his prophecy updates. So what he's going to do this Sunday, he is going to start out on YouTube and tell everybody to go over to jdfarag.org and watch what he's about to say, because he knows he'll get taken down on YouTube. If he gets like 2 strikes, they will immediately take the entire YouTube channel down. And he's got people right now working on trying to get all of his past sermons out and put on jdfarag.org. So if you forget, it'll be okay. You just go to YouTube. He'll tell you to go over to jdfarag.org. And that's only on his prophecy updates. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Susan. God bless you and everyone here. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Susan. God bless all. All right, everybody. God bless you. We'll see you again, hopefully on Monday.